Hello, and welcome to Triggered Care. I'm Alex, and today's video is going to be a bit different. Obviously, I don't have everything set up in my normal way, but that's because it's Christmas Eve, and the last few weeks have been really weird on my brain. Well, to be honest, my brain's been weird since Thanksgiving, where I'm flashbacking a lot and all that. And so I figured today for a video to kind of change up my energy with my videos a bit, I just tell holiday stories. My son is with my ex for Christmas Eve. And one thing that I've learned is that when I'm alone on holidays, I get really sad. And part of that is just all these memories bubbling up in my brain, being alone. It's not great. So I also may be knitting because I found this new YouTube channel. Well, it's not new, but it's new for me. Called Willie Muse, and he has this thing where he's knitting with Willie. And I've never knit before. I used to crochet when I was younger, but I've never knit. So I started yesterday, and this is what I got done so far, which I am very proud of. Even though it's not great, it's still something. I'm making something. I'm keeping busy so the despair doesn't set in. So let's just get right into this of stories from my past that I can no longer share with people because nobody remembers them except for me. And all my friends have families, which is awesome, but also it keeps them busy and in family time, and then I have nobody to ramble to. So let's just jump right into it. There's always a Christmas Eve story on my mind around this time. And that was the Christmas Eve that I was a child. I don't know. I was like 7 or 8. No, I was older than that. I might have been 9 or 10. And on this particular Christmas Eve, I was very stressed out. But, I mean, I'm always stressed out. But I was more stressed out than normal. Because on this particular Christmas Eve, I couldn't sleep. And then when I finally did get to sleep, I woke up in the middle of the night vomiting all over my bed, which isn't a great way to wake up, but also that was really normal for me in my family. As a child, to wake up throwing up, I remember many, many nights of waking up, vomiting, and then taking my blanket to the bathroom to wash it in the bathtub so nobody would know about it, right? And so, like any other night, I took my blanket to the tub to wash it, but I was so tired that I just left it in the tub, and I'm like, well, I'll finish this tomorrow. I don't feel like washing this right now. I just want to go to bed, because it was like 3 in the morning, and I was tired, and I was stressed. So I went back to sleep, woke up the next day, obviously forgot about the blanket in the tub covered with my vomit, and I went to open up Christmas presents with the rest of my sisters. Well, while we're opening up Christmas gifts, one of my little sisters, the one who's like 4 years younger than me, she was a toddler at the time, or just around that age. She goes to the bathroom, and then she comes back, and she goes, Mom, why is there a blanket with throw up on it in the tub? And my mother's like, what? And so my stepdad goes to look in the thing in the bathroom and sees the blanket. And what I don't understand is how they didn't know it was me, because I was the only one who had a blanket that looked like that. But my mother starts making this big production about it, of like, who threw up and threw their blanket in the tub. And I'm like, oh, that was me. Because like I knew that eventually someone would be smart enough to connect that that's my blanket, you know. And I was afraid. I was very afraid that once this big old secret of mine came out that I had vomited during the night, that I wouldn't get any Christmas gifts. And instead, my mother starts laughing at me, and she's like, "Why didn't you just tell me that? Why didn't you tell anybody that you were throwing up?" And then I got really confused, and I'm like, I don't know. I thought I was gonna get in trouble. And she's like, "Why would you get in trouble for throwing up?" And I just remember the amount of confusion that I was feeling of like, I don't know. That's just the way I feel. I feel like I was gonna get in trouble for throwing up before Christmas. And I didn't want to get in trouble, and I didn't want my toys taken away. So, like, I don't know. I guess I'm just stupid. And that's how a lot of those conversations would go. If, like, she found out that I did something that I expected her to get mad at, she wouldn't get mad at it. And then she'd just start questioning me. Like, why would you ever think that? It's like, I don't know. I've gotten in trouble for way less than that before. So, you tell me why I would get in trouble for that. But, yeah. Fun. Vomiting on Christmas is great. I really enjoy it. It's great fun. Now, I've already told the story of the time that my mother tried to run over my stepfather on Easter. Although that's like one of my first videos is when she tried to run him over on Easter. But my point is that holidays were always very chaotic. There was this other Easter, and I know that I'm not sticking to Christmas, but that's because that's not how my brain works. There was this other Easter that we were at my stepfather's parents' house, and that was a crazy Easter because my nephews, who were twin boy toddlers at the time, went out to their father's van where he left the keys in it and ran the van into the garage, which, again, just insanity. No child supervision, it seems like. But that was also, I believe, the same Easter that my stepfather ran away. He ran away because we went in the same vehicle, right? And we were like 40 minutes away from where we lived, where my family lived. And then he had his paycheck and he gave it to my mother in a very dramatic way and was like, "Here, you can have this. I'm leaving." And then he was wandering around. We thought that he was going to try to, do sad stuff to himself. So then we ended up driving around looking for him. Couldn't find him, although apparently there was a sighting of him near a bridge. So then we went around the bridge looking for him. Couldn't find him. So we end up going back, picking up the girls, because I don't know who knows this, but I have a lot of sisters. So we go and we pick up the girls, and we are driving back home on the interstate when we see him walking along like a cornfield. Just off that, because Wisconsin, there's a lot of cornfields and stuff. So we see him walking along a cornfield, and my mother pulls over, and she sends out my youngest sister, who at the time was around 3 or 4 years old. And she sends out my youngest sister to get him. Now, I'm 13 or 14 at this time. And so we're just waiting, and he sees my sister running out, and so he starts to come towards the road to, like, pick her up and carry her back to the car. So he brings her back to the car, and my mother's, yelling at him to get in the effing car or whatever. And he goes, "No, I'm going to walk home." And then she goes, "Well, if you're walking home, you're bringing her with you," pointing to my littlest sister, who's a toddler, and it's, springtime, and it's still pretty cold. And so he goes, well, she's not going to make it. She wouldn't make that. And then my mother's like, well, it's up to you. And just those moments on holidays where you're like, what is going on? Why is this even a conversation? So we ended up getting in the car, and it was a very silent, awkward ride home from that. Which, to be fair, I would rather that situation than my mother trying to run him over. I would much rather him just be trying to hike it than her barreling down on him. But it's odd how many of these fights would just explode on the holidays, and then it's like, okay, I guess. The feeling of going to extended family for holidays while trying to forget whatever traumatic thing just happened is so fresh on my brain. Of like, oh, pretend that like you're normal now. Pretend that everything's fine. Like, everything that happened this morning, it does not exist. And now we have to just, smile, be polite, say please and thank you and all of that. And then some more Christmas stuff, I guess. When I became an adult, started going to college, I would still go see my family for Christmas, obviously. And my mother, she's just so ridiculous. I remember the first Christmas back, she got all my sisters, tablets or iPads or something. And then she gave me my own things back. She just put some of my things from my old room into a bag and was like, I thought you would like this. Merry Christmas. It's like, why, thank you. These are my own things back. I guess that's a gift. I guess I'm glad that you didn't steal those from me. But it was just like every Christmas after that, she just tried to make it painfully obvious that she did not give a fuck about me or whatever. And it's like, all right, that's fine. It's kind of passive aggressive, but I still enjoyed trading presents with my sisters and stuff like that, because we had that tradition where we would buy each other presents too, and then we could open those on Thanksgiving, or not on Thanksgiving, we could open those on Christmas Eve and then open the Santa presents on Christmas Day. But I don't carry over any old traditions. I don't even have a Christmas tree in my house right now because I do not like it. I was in charge of setting up the Christmas tree when I was a kid, and just anything that's close to what I had to do as a child, I avoid. Which, does it help that much? I don't know. It just seems silly to spend all this money on decoration and stuff when I don't particularly enjoy the holiday, or seeing decorations can cause me to flashback. At that point, it just seems like I'd be torturing myself in the name of a made-up holiday that I don't fully agree with to begin with, because it's pagan tradition co-opted by Christian beliefs that is then exploited through a capitalist market. So I still celebrate it. I'm not like, bah, humbug, nobody can be happy on this holiday. I just also don't love it. It's not... Okay, I have been on record, I'm pretty sure, of saying that I hate the holidays. And most of that is just because there's so many huge traumatic events around them that it puts me on edge. Last Christmas was awful. I had my son on Christmas Eve, but I didn't have him that Christmas Day. And the amount of loneliness and the weight of not having family was absolutely crushing. It was a really, really bad Christmas Day last year. And then this last Thanksgiving, a similar thing happened, where I had Thanksgiving dinner plans for my son, because me and my ex, we try to co-parent and do things together as much as we can that's comfortable. So I did have that. But then, like, afterwards, I went through a same mental crisis where I'm like, oh my God, I'm alone. I don't have family. And this is just so heavy. And so that's also why I'm making a video, is kind of to open up the conversation for anybody who doesn't have family during the holidays, or you have limited time with your family, or whatever it is where you just feel alone and it sucks. It sucks so much because, you know, the marketing and the propaganda of like, oh, happy family times, and, you know, you only get one family and all of this. And if you come from a family where they try to run each other over, you know, it doesn't feel good. It feels like you're missing out on something that is completely not your fault. Like, we didn't choose to have horrible families to cry about on the holidays. That just happens. And then you're kind of just left with, well, what do I do now? I don't want to be a bummer to my friends with families. But also, it just kind of sucks and is exhausting and draining. So, yeah, this is a good size video, I think, of me just rambling about my family and holiday blues. And, yeah, I know that my videos I try to make videos about my opinions, but I also don't want to come across as if I think I know everything, because I really, really don't, and I am painfully aware of that. And I think it's a bad idea to just look to one person for all the information, you know? Like, you have to have a well-rounded wealth of resources to, you know, feel like you have a good grasp on something. But even the best grasp you feel like you have on something, that is subject to change. So I think I'm going to try to do more story-like videos and try to throw in some more casual videos. Obviously, I'll still do my social justice videos or my psychology videos, but I would like to add a little bit more stories in here, because that's what my channel started out as. But then with the pandemic, I feel like I kind of gotten more of this, like, oh, I need to analyze and be serious all the time, which is exhausting and not sustainable. So thank you for sitting with me during these holiday rambles. And if this isn't your type of thing, that's fine. That's valid. I appreciate your viewership. I appreciate the comments and likes. No matter what they are, I appreciate them, and they usually get me thinking about stuff. And happy holidays to everybody. Whatever you're celebrating, I hope it's a joyous occasion, or even if it can't be joyous, I hope it's bearable. I'm with you in that boat. Sending love out to everyone, and I hope y'all have good ones.